Yeah, I'm sure that there's a philosophy in each development studio as to how do you handle character death. Because in a lot of games... Oh, is this what you can get if you have all the power-ups? What's that on the front of the ship? He's got, like, red stuff following him? And triple bullets? And... Oh, they're just teasing me now! How do I get that? Was that, like, eight layers of doubles and fucking bombs and shit? Man. It's an interesting philosophy I never really thought about. I mean, what do you guys think? In a lot of games, I'll just use my favorite game, or one of my favorite games. He got hit by something and didn't die. Is this like demo mode where they cheated in order to make this, or is it? Does he have a power-up that lets him not die? Because I want that. But I'm sure it's demo mode. They just wanted to. They obviously have all the power-ups just turned on, so that's like this is Game Genie demo here. So in Spyro, if you die, it's after taking, I guess, blue, green, 3 hits. 3 strikes are out. And then when you reappear, all the gems you collected are still collected, and all the dragons you freed are still freed, all the orbs you got, all the eggs you hatched, everything that you did that in terms of your progress through the game is all retained. Now, some of the enemies may respawn, but you don't have to kill them again if you don't want to, because you've already gotten what it is they give you. In fact, the enemies, if you kill them a second time, actually give you items to help in the first game. They give you items to help you create one-ups for yourself. So the enemies still have something useful, and there's still a reason to go after them, which is definitely good in terms of game design. Because if you had to kill each enemy once and exactly once, and dying didn't matter, then once you died once after beating a level, or beating a section of a level, you would just run by it rather than doing it again to kill like the little silver things to give you one-ups. So, but then when you die in Spyro, in terms of your actual character, you're set back to full Spyro power. It's not like in Spyro 2 when you learn how to dive. If you die, you have to go pay to learn how to dive again. No, you keep your abilities and you go back to full health. Although I guess you would say in this game you go back to full health as well because you only have 1 hit and you're alive, so that's full health. But they take away all your power-ups. Is there... I guess in terms of Nintendo, it follows the standard because the same thing as Mario, same thing as Castlevania. You die, you don't have your Fire Flower anymore. You don't have your Whip Upgrade. You don't have your Double. You don't have your Laser. You don't have your Speed Up. So I guess that was the philosophy, definitely when this happened, that if you died, you lost all power-ups and all advantages that you had gained. Which I guess makes sense, because when you start this game, you don't have any of those power-ups. When you start Mario, you don't have a Super Mushroom, right? Yeah, you don't have a Super Mushroom. You don't have a Fire Flower. When you start Castlevania, you don't have a secondary weapon or a Whip Upgrade. They do give you a minimum amount of hearts, though, which is weird because you don't have a secondary weapon yet. Whereas in Spyro, when you start the game, you have 3 hits on Sparks. And that's exactly the state you go back to when you die. It's interesting. Yes. Everybody says, oh, it was like because of arcades were hard. They wanted you to die a lot, so you'd put more money in. But, I mean, in games that came out for, like, the Intellivision or the ColecoVision or the fucking Atari 2600, I can understand why that would still have been the mindset to make it an arcade game, basically, or to try to. And a lot of games on the NES, they were attempting to cash in on the success of an arcade game, like the Ninja Turtles game that's so bad that had such a great arcade game, and they made a really shitty game for the NES that just had the same name and had nothing else in common. And then they made a shitty version on the Super Nintendo, I think, before finally getting it right with Turtles in Time. And so I feel like maybe really early in the NES's life cycle that could have been an issue. But I mean, when did Gradius? I don't know what year Gradius came out. I think it was relatively early still. But like at some point in the NES's life cycle, they should have realized they should talk to focus groups and players and done some consumer research and realized that I'm dying. This fucking sound. They should have done some consumer-focused research to figure out what people were thinking about these games. And I think they would have seen that dying a lot was not as much fun as getting to continually play. And there's ways to punish the player for not playing well without, making them redo sections of the game, without taking away all the power-ups and things. Like, it would be interesting if in this game, if you had like a hierarchy of power-ups. Like in Mario, if you had the Fire Flower, you get hit and you go back to being Small Mario and lose the Fire Flower. In this game, it'd be interesting if you died and you lost like the last power-up you got. And then if you got hit again, you lost the power-up you got before that, like a stack orientation. And if you got hit when you had already lost your power-ups or hadn't collected any, then you'd die. That'd be interesting. Sort of collecting the power-ups as you go along is sort of like building up your health bar. But then that's sort of also like starting with 0 health, which everyone knows is annoying. But a lot of games have done it. Like, look at the original Legend of Zelda. If you're in level 9 with 14 hearts and you die fighting Ganon, you go back to the beginning of the dungeon and you have 3 fucking hearts. Now, granted, in that game it's obviously open world and you have you have a place right next door where you can go to get a potion to refill it. But it's weird for a game to start you with very little health if you have a health bar. So it would be weird in this game for the stack of power-ups to operate in that way. Hello, Unhappy Guardian. I don't know. I don't know if I would be any good at actually designing a game. It's easy to critique. It's hard to create something that is uncritiquable. All right, let's give it another go.